Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out your salary just crossed a number most people literally only dream about, $100,000 a year. I mean, on paper, you should be doing great, right? You should be able to afford a beautiful home, drive a premium car, travel the world, max out your retirement, and still have plenty of cash left over. But for millions of hardworking Americans, that just isn't what $100,000 feels like at all. You get paid well, you work incredibly hard, you look highly successful from the outside, and yet, somehow, you still feel inexplicably broke. Well, welcome to this explainer where we're going to unpack one of the most deceptive financial illusions of modern America. So, what does this all mean? Well, it sets up the central mystery of the modern middle and upper middle class. Where does all that money actually go? Now, the answer isn't simply that people are just bad with money or recklessly blowing it all on luxury goods. The bigger, much more dangerous problem is that a $100,000 salary sounds significantly richer than it actually is in practice. So today, we're going to do a forensic, somewhat dramatic autopsy of a modern six-figure paycheck. Because once you understand exactly where this money disappears, you'll finally understand the trap. Okay, let's dive right into this by clearing up the absolute biggest mistake almost everyone makes. For decades, earning six figures was considered the ultimate financial milestone. Psychologically, that number still feels enormous to us, but we're confusing a massive paycheck with a high net worth. See, income and wealth are two completely different things. Income is simply the money you receive. Wealth, on the other hand, is what you actually keep and build after everything else is paid. You can earn $100,000 a year and literally have a net worth of zero. Meanwhile, someone earning $60,000 could be in a vastly superior financial position if they systematically save, invest, and avoid debt. The point here is, your paycheck isn't your wealth. Let's put a microscope on that exact paycheck. If you earn exactly $100,000 per year, your gross monthly income is about $8,333. Now that is an impressive headline number. When you hear that, your brain immediately starts planning a lifestyle based on having over $8,000 to spend every single month. But, well, reality is about to kick the door in.
Because nobody actually gets to spend that entire amount. Let's slice away that $8,333. First off, federal taxes take a significant portion. Then, Social Security and Medicare take another slice. And depending on the American city you live in, state and local taxes can take even more. Now subtract your health insurance premiums, perhaps a standard retirement contribution, and other basic deductions. Suddenly, the amount that actually hits your checking account is shockingly smaller than the headline number. Your lifestyle is funded by what remains, not the fantasy gross amount.
Section 1. The biggest expense: housing.
If you live in an expensive American city, housing easily devours a massive chunk of your take-home pay. When your income goes up, you naturally start looking at larger spaces because you think to yourself, hey, I can afford it now. But affording a bigger house isn't just about making one single larger mortgage payment. It triggers the housing domino effect. Technically, you might be able to afford the mortgage, but affordability and financial freedom are entirely different things. A larger home brings creeping expenses that trap the earner. We're talking higher utilities to heat and cool the space, increased homeowners insurance, constant maintenance, skyrocketing property taxes, and the sudden need to buy more furniture just to fill those empty rooms. Your big raise just transformed into a massive permanent monthly obligation. And that brings us to one of the most powerful, silent destroyers of wealth out there, lifestyle inflation. Imagine you start out making $50,000 and you learn to live on $45,000. Then, boom, you get a promotion to $100,000. But instead of banking the difference, your lifestyle expands. You get a better apartment, a nicer phone, you take more extravagant vacations. The real danger of lifestyle inflation is that it doesn't feel like you're being reckless. It just feels like you're finally living the life you deserve. Your income doubled, but your financial freedom didn't, because you simply doubled your expenses to match it. Aside from housing, there is another major expense that quietly massacres your cash flow. You walk into a dealership with your six-figure salary, and the salesperson says, hey, don't worry about the total price, it's only $700 a month. It sounds manageable, right? But that $700 is an absolute illusion. When you add the hidden costs, premium insurance, fuel, registration, maintenance, and interest, that true monthly cost spirals. Worse, cars are depreciating liabilities. They look like assets in your driveway, but financially, you're just turning your extra income into a permanent monthly payment that constantly loses value. Then we really have to look at the invisible money drain. People tend to notice the big punches, like a $2,000 mortgage or a $700 car payment. What they ignore is the cash flow bleeding out quietly, just one harmless transaction at a time. Streaming services, endless food delivery fees,
premium coffee, forgotten app subscriptions, weekend Uber rides, and quick impulse purchases. Individually, a $15 subscription or a $30 dinner doesn't feel dangerous at all, but collectively, these small leaks sink the ship. In fact, studies show the average American wastes over $1,000 a year on subscriptions they've completely forgotten about. Money rarely disappears in one dramatic event. It evaporates quietly.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when those lifestyle expenses are suddenly being funded by credit cards. This creates a deeply vicious cycle. Step 1, you earn a great salary. Step 2, you spend more because you feel like you earn more. Step 3, you start carrying a credit balance. And Step 4, your next hard-earned paycheck is entirely dedicated to paying interest on past spending. Your high income is suddenly working backward. Instead of building your wealth, you're just servicing the past.
A high income doesn't protect you from financial stress. In fact, it can make your mistakes far more expensive. Lenders absolutely love high earners. They'll gladly offer you massive loans, creating a highly dangerous illusion. You start to think, well, if the bank says I can afford it, I must be able to afford it. We have to completely dismantle this illusion right now. Banks calculate what you can theoretically repay before defaulting. They absolutely do not calculate how much financial freedom, peace of mind, or wealth you actually want.
Compounding all of this is the modern pressure cooker we live in. We constantly compare our lives to the online highlight reels of our peers. Social media makes highly expensive lifestyles look incredibly normal. You see the luxury car, the massive house, the exotic trips, and your brain signals that you're falling behind. But remember this, social media aggressively hides the true balance sheet. You see the luxury, but you never see the crippling credit card debt, the exorbitant loan, or the sheer financial stress keeping them up at night. Comparing yourself to this illusion is financially destructive.
Section 2. The Tale of Two Earners. Both earn $100,000. This is where the math finally meets reality. Let's look at two earners living in the exact same city with the exact same job title. Let's contrast them side by side. Person A has designed a lifestyle that consumes their entire income. They live in an expensive luxury apartment, carry a huge car payment, eat out constantly, and drag along credit card debt. Now look at Person B. Person B lives below their means. They chose manageable housing, drive a reliable used car, avoid high-interest debt, have a solid emergency fund, and invest consistently. Same exact salary, completely different outcomes. The biggest threat to a $100,000 salary isn't low income, it's a lifestyle flawlessly designed to consume it all. The difference isn't what they earn, it's the crucial gap between earning and spending.
You really have to start treating your personal finances like a business. Think of it like this. Your salary is your revenue. Your lifestyle expenses are your operating costs. Whatever remains, your profit, is your wealth-building capital. If you spend everything, your wealth-building machine is completely out of fuel. But if you create a savings gap, you generate capital. That capital is literally the only fuel available to generate compounding wealth. Left over time, it pays down debt, builds businesses, and buys assets that generate even more income.
Section 3. Building true financial freedom. So how do we fix those leaks? Well, the goal isn't to live in poverty when you make six figures. It's simply to ensure your lifestyle doesn't consume every single dollar you generate. Here are the vital first steps to regain control of your cash flow. First, track your actual spending. Not what you think you spend, but what your bank statements prove you spend, targeting those massive leaks in housing and transportation. Second, build an emergency buffer so that one unexpected flat tire doesn't throw you right back into credit card debt. And third, aggressively attack high-interest debt. Once that foundation is strong, you can invest consistently. The golden rule here is, do not let every raise become a brand new expense.
So the crucial point is this fundamental mindset shift. You have to move away from financial danger and towards security. Stop asking, what can I afford right now? You might be able to qualify for a $600,000 home, but can you afford it while maintaining an emergency fund? You might be able to afford the monthly payment on a luxury car, but can you do it while investing consistently? Start asking, how do I protect my financial future? That right there is how you stop living paycheck to paycheck on a six-figure salary.
A $100,000 income is still an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not the finish line. Its true power is that it gives you a much larger opportunity to create that gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap becomes savings, savings become investments, and investments transform your income into actual generational wealth. Because at the end of the day, a big salary can make you look rich, but only what you keep, invest, and build can actually make you wealthy. Ask yourself, which one are you actually doing?